One of the great features of ReSharper is the live templates, which is similar to Visual Studio code snippets. So if you find yourself repetitively typing a piece of code, you can save yourself time and energy and turn that piece of code into a code snippet or live template. For example, when you're writing test classes, it's pretty common to write a test initialize method and then decorate it with test initialize attribute. I find this very repetitive, and I don't like to type the same thing over and over. In fact, that was one of the reasons I had RSI or repetitive strain injury before, because I used to type the same thing over and over. So try to reduce your typing and find faster ways to write code. So what I decided to do was to turn that into a code snippet or a live template, which means instead of typing this over and over every time, I just type test I, and that's the keyword that I created for myself. And I press tab. There you go. I got my test initialize method ready. Okay, now let's see how we can create a live template. So let's say we want to turn this piece of code into a live template. First, we select it. And you learned a quick way of selecting code using Control W. Now we go to ReSharper menu, Tools, Create Live Template from Selection. And in the first window, you see a preview of what you're turning into a live template. Don't worry about it, just click Create and Edit. Now in this window, you see the code that you have selected. You can change it. For example, you can add something here, blah, 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 or some code like var x equals 0. You can change the template as you wish. And on the right side, you can see a shortcut. So let's give it a shortcut of test A. You could use test I as in test initialize, but I've already used that, so I don't want that to conflict. So I'm going to use test A here. If you want to give it a description, so later you remember what is this for, you can type it here, but it's not essential. And once you're done, just press Ctrl and S to save it. Okay, now we close this template. Now anywhere in the code, if I type test A, see this icon? That's the code snippet or live template icon. Tab, there you go. What if you made a mistake or sometime later you decided to change your template to something else? So you go to ReSharper, Tools, Templates Explorer, and here you see all your templates. On the left side, you see the languages these templates are for. So as you see, it's not only for C#. You can create a template for your CSS or your JavaScript. So in the C#, let's scroll down. You see, we've got this test A, we just created. Now, if I want to edit that, while this is selected, I go here, Edit Template, and that takes us back to this window we have seen before. So you can change any code here. Let's get rid of this. You can change the shortcut. Let's make it test B. And save it. Good. Now close it. Back here. Remove this. One more time. Test B. And this is the updated template. Now, one thing that is very powerful about this technique is you can, let me remove this. You can add parameters in your template. What do I mean by that? Let's say we want to write a test for a method called divide. So typically, this is how we name our test methods. So the first part is the name of the method under test, then underline, then the condition we're testing, for example, saying second argument is 0, underline, and the third part is the expectation, saying throws exception. And of course, we need to decorate this with test method attribute. So what is repetitive here is this declaration here, adding the test method and public void. But what changes every time is these three parts. So I want to have a template that allows me to quickly create this piece of code, but still give me a chance to overwrite what is here. So I don't want static content. So again, I'm going to select this piece of code. Go to ReSharper, Tools, create live template from selection. Now, the parts that I want to be dynamic, I surround them with a $sign. So I put a $sign here and here. And note that it immediately is highlighted with a red border. And on the right side, in the parameters window, you see you have a parameter called divide. Now, divide is not a good parameter name. Instead, I'm going to change that to method name. I'm going to do the same technique here. So for this part, I'm going to add a parameter called condition. And for this part here, expectation. So now we have 3 parameters in our template. Now let's give this template a shortcut. So let's call this test C. You can name it test M in your environment because that's a test method. But in my environment, because I've already done that, I don't want that to conflict. So let's save this. Now, close. So next time I want to create a test method, I simply type test C tab. Now I've got the template and the first parameter is highlighted. So I can change method name to divide. Now I press tab. The second parameter is highlighted. I can say second argument is 0. Press tab again. Now the third parameter is highlighted. Throws exception. And enter. Done. So the lesson is, whenever you find yourself repetitively typing a piece of code, make sure to create a live template from it. And if there are parts that needs to be dynamic, you can use parameters to make them dynamic. I hope you enjoyed this lecture and thank you for watching.